hear me? Welcome to Let's Talk Business with SJC. I'm your guest host, Veronica, and got a great show for you.
Recording in progress.
But let me start the show in traditional form, which is let's see what does she always say? Good morning. Well, I'm messing up. I don't even remember your catchphrase. Today we've got a great show for you guys. I will let our guests introduce themselves.
Well, Rocky, I think my mic is open.
Say that one more time for me.
I think my mic is open. Can you hear me fine?
Oh, I remember. Get ready, get ready, get ready. There we go. You have to forgive me. I'm on West Coast time. All right, Margaret, please. Yeah, lead us in.
Well, it's afternoon, so good afternoon. My name is Margaret DeBellotte. I am Miss D, the job coach, and I previously had a show here on In Touch News Radio, so it's awesome that I would be on a Wednesday because my show was working Wednesday. So I'm happy to be here with you guys today.
Excellent. And next, Diamond, could you, Dimond?
Hello, I am Diamond
Hi.
Cullum. I am Mrs. Cuso's intern for the summer, so I'll just be here, adding my input occasionally.
We appreciate that. We're still doing things a little differently, even though the world's opening back up. We are still in different places, but with teamwork, there's nothing we can't accomplish. And I believe our next guest is on as well. Veronica, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, good afternoon, Veronica Streets, and I am a recently new author, and Miss Cheryl Cussock invited me on the show, and I am grateful and honored to be on the show.
And we are grateful and honored to have you. Yes, we have been featuring some authors recently, and I think it's important for us to continue to introduce more and more authors, to create book clubs. My mom herself has been a member of a book club for decades. And it's that sharing of knowledge. It's that sharing of our stories, which is going to just continue to empower us. We know the old adage, if you didn't want people to know about it, you put it in a book. Well, that no longer holds true with us.
True.
And we want to continue to make sure that that's the case.
Right.
So we welcome everyone. And this is the show that's going to get all up in your business. And today we are talking about our authors, and we are talking about just topics of the day. So Margaret, I definitely appreciate you coming back to us here at In Touch to share a little bit. So give us an update since you last left your show.
Well, I've done quite a few things. I'm also an author. I published my first book. I published it in an ebook. It's called 7 Questions to Self-Coach to the Next Level. I also took a detour in my career coaching business, and I am dressed like this because I got my CDL license and I'm a truck driver.
Hello.
So I'm actually on the road. I'm sitting in the driver's lounge at Peterbilt dealership because my truck needed a little maintenance today. So I'm happy to be with you. The reason I believe that I'm here is to talk about the topic of empowerment, because I'm also the founder of an annual event that happens in Tampa Bay called the Empowerment Summit Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we need. We need to continue to change those narratives, such as what a truck driver looks like. And
Yeah.
mhm.
I get that a lot. They go, I didn't think you would look like that. I actually went to a meeting, and at the meeting, I met a woman who was the host had told her a little bit about me and told her that I was a truck driver, and she said, I sure didn't expect you to look like that. And I said, well, what do truck drivers look like? You know,
Right.
they don't give us a profile to pass the test. If you can pass the test, then
I mean,
you're
hey,
in
you got
there.
the overalls on, so you're halfway there. I mean, you got the uniform on a little bit, but
I
we
definitely
appreciate that.
believe in. Well, my job coach background, I have my first career was in human resources, training and developing people. So as a job coach, I teach people how to get jobs. And one of the reasons why I'm qualified to teach people how to get jobs is because I've had a lot of jobs, and I used to hire people for a living. So I definitely know about dressing appropriately according to the job. I wear cowboy boots and overalls.
And it's
Maybe
nice
that's
because
stereotypical though.
we've heard about boots that were made for walking, but we love that those are boots made for driving. So we appreciate that. And I love that you've made the transition from someone who had a lot of jobs to now it sounds like you own a truck. Or
Well, okay, so I drive a truck. I'm actually a company driver. I'm just
okay,
celebrating 1 year as the company
congrats.
driver, but my long-term goal, thank you. My long-term goal is to own a truck and hire a driver to drive it. I believe my best position, if you will, is in business ownership. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and teaching people that entrepreneurship looks like many, many things. And in the trucking industry, that's definitely true. But I chose to learn about trucking as a driver. Many people go into dispatching and logistics and things like that. I thought I wanted to know what my driver that I'm going to hire to drive my truck would feel like. That was part of the reason. The other reason really is because I love trucks. And I've always wanted to drive one. So I'm really actually also checking off one of my bucket list items.
And and it's such an excellent way to learn a business, getting paid to learn, right? And to get that firsthand knowledge. I also have slipped into property management myself, and I'm working for a company, but always with the goal to own rental property, right? And so I think that's a very key component that you're talking about. I'm just now starting to look into getting into the automotive rental space as well. And so there are a lot
Oh,
of different opportunities for folks. And here at Let's Talk Business, we want to talk about all of the opportunities, right?
right.
How to not and how to use jobs or employment to prepare you for the ownership components and how to manage your assets and your entities. So with that being said, thank you. We'll talk a little bit more about this empowerment summit because that's the other real key component to everything that we're talking about because we recognize that your network will represent your net worth, right? And if we are able to leverage all of our collective skills and assets and resources, well, then we can get to where we're going faster. And so those are the types of things that we want to be very mindful of and the importance of recycling those dollars back into that network, back into those relationships that we're building. So that being said, Veronica, I would love to touch base with you a little bit about this book that you've written.
Yes. So it started many years ago, actually. I had, it had been confirmed to me and like, in a sense, prophesized. And then I just kind of brushed it off. But to speed forward, 2000, right before the pandemic started,
Mm-hmm.
my granddaughter and I picked her up from ballet one Saturday afternoon, and she always liked to go to Chick-fil-A, and then we would go to the library. We would go to the library because I'm an early childhood educator. And so we
Excellent.
get our lunch there. Thank you. And go to the library, check out books. So one of my previous clients, my childcare providers, I knew she had been attending college and graduate school and then on with her doctoral, but I didn't know she was an author, and she had an authors group, and we ran into her at the library, and she told me she was on her third book, and I told her I knew I was supposed to be doing it, writing a book, and the confirming moments that I had. I even ran into an elderly gentleman in a local grocery store, and he asked me, was I an author? And I said, no, not yet, sarcastically, but one day, you know. And so, and then in my local church and other church services, they would be like, you know, it's an author in here. You have something birthed in you. So anyway, I purchased several of her books, and because I wanted to invest in her ministry, and then I blessed some other young ladies with it as well. And then she interviewed me to make sure I met the criteria, because sometimes people start things and then they don't, you know, and that's what the book is about. Also procrastination. I've been tempted in that area many times myself. So lo and behold, yes, we did. And I met the criteria. So I got in the group. It was it's been a journey. It's been challenging. When I first got in the group, that one of the expectations were to write 6,500 words a month. That it worked out okay. At first it was a struggle, but I had to devote time, and I would put 1 or 2 days aside and just do 6 to 8 hours of writing. And in the middle of the project, about chapter 4, I told her, because, you know, we're Christians, and most of the women that were in the group were, you know, all of them were Christians, and we always started a prayer. And I said, look, my book is dealing with people that have issues completing things, following up, you know, procrastination, you know.
Absolutely.
So I said, the Holy Spirit is telling me I need to shave it. They're not going to get through a 300 or 400 page book, you know, and I need to get to the point and just do it. And then everything started falling in place. That's how it was. I've been getting texts, emails, phone calls telling me I had my launch last Friday, the 25th. People have finished the book already, and how much it has helped them. So that made me feel like something is being accomplished.
Absolutely.
You know,
even just you seeing it through. I mean, that by itself.
Yes.
It starts with that personal journey, right? And working past whatever blockages might have held us up. So absolutely.
And I was telling them, like, in the midst, because you do get discouraged. You have things that happen along the way, but every time I went to a local consignment shop when they started opening things back up for the pandemic, and then I didn't see it walking in, but on my way out, I saw this, and this is the title of my book, you know. The 3 words there. So I was like, okay, Lord, thank you. Another confirming moment. So just trust the process, keep going. And that's what I've been doing, you know. And in the book, I explained to them about the 3 D's for success: discipline, dedication, determination, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and my hope for others is to learn and develop ways to you know, stop their procrastination and accomplish their desires, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick that up for sure, because I still have moments, and it's not even so much just procrastination. It's like when you have so many other things on your plate, and even just learning how to take a few of those things off so that you can refocus and stay focused on the actual goals that you have for yourself, and not continually building other people's dreams and goals. So we thank you for that. That really encompasses what we're talking about with this empowerment, right? Empowerment Summit. And just that concept of empowerment, because it's hard to help others if you can't help yourself first, right? That's why on airplanes, they always tell you to put your mask on first, right? because you'll quickly, and I think that's one of those things that we have to learn as a community as well. We get so caught up in trying to help family and friends before we've actually put ourselves on a very solid foundation. And so I love that. And I love that group that you joined, right? We talk about accountability partners. We talk about just people who can help. So when you are disgruntled, you have those people who can help you talk through it, right? People who've done it already, right? Mentors,
Yes.
people that we can learn from.
Absolutely.
And you scared me for a second there. You took me back to my middle school typing class. I was like, wait, words a minute? But you said words a month. So I was like, okay. But I love that the group, just to even be a part of the group, you couldn't talk about it. You had to be about it. You had to show that you were actively engaging in what the group is engaging in, or else they understand that this isn't the group for you. Oh, if you're just talking about you're going to do it, but you haven't put pen to paper or keystroke to computer screen, then this isn't the right group for you. And I love that. I love that it starts with, because it really is like the subject of your book. I mean, the title, like I will, I can, I did. And showing, because each of those steps means that something was accomplished, right? I will, meaning I believe that I can.
Yes.
And paying attention to those signs, right? You talk about when a minister prophesizes, right? Because it's really easy to sit up in a big church with a bunch of folk and think that message is for somebody else. There's no way that they could know what I had in my mind, because I didn't talk to anybody about that. There's no way that they could know that.
Mm-hmm.
No, where 2 or 3 are gathered, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Spirit knows. And so I love that you paid attention to that word, right? And even when we think we're joking about the things that we plan to do, like I might have joked in high school, yeah, I'm gonna move to LA. Like I didn't know for sure, but it was a thought, and I put that thought to action, and here I am. And so I appreciate you sharing that, and let's talk about how we prepare to bring these things to fruition and bring these things to life. And the fact that we have 2 authors, I think, is an exceptional place to start, because even for the people who want to get into those spaces, with hearing about somebody has an ebook version, right? Somebody has a printed version, right? So learning the difference between what the traditional concept of being a published author, having a publishing house, having an editor, having these people these gatekeepers originally, right? To now we have the opportunity to do self-publishing, to print on demand, right? We have these different ways to get our material out to the world. So if you ladies could, and I'll just open that up to the floor, whoever might want to touch on what those different elements look like now in the publishing world.
Well, what I want to say is I chose to put my book out as an ebook because I needed to get it out. I'd been threatening to write something. I am a quasi-professional procrastinator because I believe that it has to look right, smell right, right. So I do all of this nonsense that I teach my clients not to do, right? But it helps me to remember that it is a process, and it helps me to be patient with the people that I work with, because I look at my own story. I look at how I do the things that I do, right? So one of the things that I did to start learning about writing, I joined a writing group. So I love what Veronica said. I joined the Clearwater Writers Group. I found it on Meetup. It was a very informal group. And when I got in the room and found these people were professionals, at first I was intimidated. I mean, many of them are published through publishing houses, big time Amazon. There were ghostwriters in the room, but I didn't know all that stuff. But had I not been empowered to walk in the room, right, I would have never learned all that I learned. and I would have never
Absolutely.
taken the journey. So I talk to people about taking the journey to getting there. It doesn't happen overnight. I believe it's a journey.
It is a journey.
It absolutely is. And we thank you for sharing that part of your story. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back in just a moment. Thank you.
Don't miss the first annual Amateur Grillers Cook-Off coming to the Tampa Bay area on Labor Day weekend, September the 5th. Hosted by the Dr. K.C. Patel High School, located at 10721 Rollison Ranch Road, right here in Tampa, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be a $500 cash prize to the best amateur griller. If you feel that you've got the skills, then you need to bring your grill. It doesn't matter how big or how small. You can drive it up, push it up, pull it up, or even let grandma and grandpa help you set it up. Just bring the entire family out and enjoy some of the finest amateur grill meats. Sample the sauce and find out who has the best sauce. Bring your meat and put it on a plate, and let's see if you have what it takes. For vendors information, text 813-965-4456.
It's politics, it's life. It's the Life Malcolm Show every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on In Touch Radio. Are you missing church? Yes! Well, you don't have to. Listen in every Sunday to Reverend Dr. Maurice Johnson. Voice your victory from the Memphis Christian Center at 11 a.m. Central Time and 12 noon Eastern Time on In Touch Radio.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm your guest host, Rocky Cuso, filling in for Miss Cheryl Cuso here at Let's Talk Business with SJC on In Touch News. We appreciate you for tuning in. Today we are talking about how to empower ourselves, right? And we've got two wonderful authors with us sharing some of their wonderful insight. And the main thing I'm hearing is how not to get caught up in that paralysis by analysis, right? Sometimes we think that something needs to be perfect, and that part of being perfect holds us up from even getting started. But I think what we realize is, or what you will realize is, once you get started, you can go from there, right? You can continue to improve. Every book has a new edition. Generally, when you think back to your textbooks, every few years they're going to update it, right? So you don't have to think that that first one has to be so perfect that you don't want to put it out. There is a lot to be said about making great first impressions, and part of the way that you can do that is to have that support network that you can run it past to make sure that it looks as good as it could, just to get started. Not just relying on your own eye. You always need a second eye. You always need an editor. You need people who do it for a living, and who understands that they can give you some insight into how to make improvements. And what you heard is that both of our authors today found groups with people who were already doing the work and already had learned a lot of the lessons and pitfalls that they could avoid. So ladies, thank you for sharing those stories and those insights, because we understand that our people might perish for lack of knowledge, right? But we don't have to if we are getting the information down and getting it out so that others can learn. So
Hey,
if
Rocky.
we think, yes.
Veronica, we're using this word empowerment, and because I'm a writer, I like definitions of words.
Absolutely.
And Veronica used a word that I liked, and I realized it's part of the definition. So one of the definitions of empowerment is a process of becoming stronger and more confident with life and claiming one's right. So Veronica knew that she had a right to put a book out. She felt empowered and she went through the process of becoming stronger in it. So I think, Veronica, you personify empowerment in that way.
And also to add on what you said, I my book also is in the process of the ebook. It's on Amazon as well. And the what I also tell my audience and my readers, I'm the president of the greeters or ushers. So yeah, I do host events, but normally I'm not the speaker. I do speak. So this is another area where I can relate to them, like being challenged or stretched out to get out. That's why also when this opportunity came to me, I said, okay, God, this you too, because this is an area where I want to expand my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And, so thank you.
Absolutely. And we do have to expand all of those elements. Am I sideways to you all, or is that just
yes, you are. I was actually going to send you a message to let you know you're sideways.
I don't know why. There we go. All right.
I've done that on calls before too.
We're finally coming out of this Zoom world, so we thought, but we're still here. So
no, Rocky, it's looking at life at a different perspective. That's all it is.
That is all it is. So thank you for that. Now, Margaret, could you give us a little bit? So now that we know a few of the tools that we need to get going and to get started, and to now we have another resource about how to train ourselves not to procrastinate. Could you tell us a little bit more about how this Empowerment Summit will help bring a lot of these elements we're talking about together?
Absolutely. The things we've talked about is put a community around you. About 3 years ago, I started saying that I was going to build a tribe of 300 like-minded individuals who, with a spirit of love and compassion for humanity, intend to hashtag change the world. So I'm even wearing right now a hashtag change the world shirt. And so I just started this thing. I'm a doer. Right? I have an idea and I just run in a direction with it. Confuses people, but it's just who I am. And I said to a friend, and I call her now my sister from a different mister. I said to her through social media, because we'd never met before. She watched my Facebook Lives. I watched her Facebook Lives. And I said to her, hey, we should do a conference together. And she said, yeah, that'd be great. And I put it all together and I called her up and I said, okay, here's the date and here's where it's going to be. And she went to her husband and said, that lady that I met on Facebook, we have to go to Florida. They live in Dallas, Texas. Her name is Cree Perryman. She's my co-founder. We've never met. We only knew each other through social media, and we came up with the Empowerment Summit Tampa Bay because we intend to hashtag change the world, get people empowered, enabled, off the couch, give them the authority and the power to do something. I truly believe that everybody wants to do something. They just don't know how. They don't know where to start. They don't know with whom to do it. So the Empowerment Summit has 3 levels, 3 layers, if you will. One of the things that I truly believe is giving to others. So we raise money and awareness for a local charity. The second part of that is the networking piece. I network with a lot of people. A lot of people in Tampa Bay know my face and they know my brand, but they have no idea what I do because they just see me at stuff. They're like, that's the lady, the job coach lady. I don't really know what she does, but they see me at a lot of things. And so networking is something I'm very, very good at. I have a sales background as well and learning who people are so that I can connect them. So there's a networking piece where you come into a space and you meet people that under other circumstances you probably would have never met because people generally don't cross-pollinate. They stay in their particular group. It's out of your comfort zone to go to another environment. Well, I bring all of my networks together at the Empowerment Summit. And the last piece is I sit next to people every day and I have no idea what their story is. But if they're within 10 feet of me, I'm going to find out what their story is. And you're probably sitting next to somebody who's done something amazing in your community,
Absolutely.
just like Veronica. Veronica did something amazing. She went from knowing she should do something to actually doing it. And that story is going to make somebody say, I'm like her. I can do that. Or I can do something that I've been thinking about doing. And so I put amateur speakers. They're not professionals. They're regular people. I give them 11 minutes to answer the question, what made you feel empowered enough to accomplish the amazing thing that you've done? And that's the gist of it. Those three things: the speakers, the networking, and the raising money for a local charity.
And that is so phenomenal, especially this part about giving back as well. Because I think sometimes in networking, or when people think that they are networking, they miss that key component, that enter situations trying to understand what you can offer and give before ever trying to receive anything. And I also felt like a professional networker for a number of years, and being in sales, I think is a great tool. So for those who are looking to become entrepreneurs, become business owners, I think that's an excellent place to start, because it forces you to learn to go talk to people, to start learning about different personality types and how people receive information, because you can't use the same strategy and tactic with everyone. And once you become the business or the business owner, and you're in charge of sales, productivity, these are going to be key components for you. All of those things.
Accounting, all of the things.
And so understand what goes along with that. But at the end of the day, right, any business person is going to talk about bottom line, right? Are we making more than we're putting out? You know, are we having a return on investment, right? And so when you are an employee, it's easier to just focus on your one element of the business and try to make sure that your one part is done, right? And using those acronyms, keep it simple and cover your own backside, right?
Right.
But there's nobody to hide behind when you're the entrepreneur, when you're the business owner. So Veronica, could you tell us a little bit about, once you became the boss, what were some of those different elements that you had to learn those different hats you had to wear?
Well, I've been a boss for 26 years. I don't know if I don't know if I mentioned I have my own home-based child care center.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the payroll, hiring people, keeping up the documents, all of it. But I have assistants to help run the program. So yeah, I've been for like 26 years in early childhood education and a small business owner. Yep.
Excellent. And then that's that part of building out that team, right? So that you're not the one who has to try to do all those things that Margaret just mentioned. Now, with that, how did that transition from that type of a business to being an author?
Well, with the children, I'm writing all the time anyway. But when that was given it to me, that's why I said I had faith and clarity. That's all I needed. I acted on faith and then just walked into that clarity, because I had no clue. I didn't have a clue how it was going to turn out. I just trusted myself along the process, trusted God.
Excellent.
Veronica, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Do you agree that the clarity comes once you start the doing? What I mean by that is, in my own business journey, I started in one direction, or I started with one sort of thought process. But once I started doing, I started realizing where my giftings were and where they're not.
Right.
And I got clearer on what my goal was. I got clearer on who my audience is. But if you don't start the doing, I think, Rocky, you said it, you get the analysis paralysis. You get all of the data in front of you and you have no idea what to do with it. So do you agree that it comes along the journey?
It does. It can be prior, but definitely along the journey. And I think because of the I call it ministry or my mission, a lot over the course of the years, I've even been in a teen parent program. So I think seeing the struggles, single parents, the teen parents, and then someone told me they were going to go back for their GED. So I think just seeing that and being able to relate from their stories with the parents bringing the children up, picking them, dropping them off, picking them up, and here taking time to listen. I'm completing my master's in mental health too, but you're the teacher, the provider, the mother, to listen, because my mother is not here in Florida and da-da-da-da-da. And, so it's like you wear a lot of hats. So definitely the clarity does come after as well.
And that's what's so important. So what we're talking about is the more you start to do the things, the more you'll start to understand how the whole thing works. And so when I was talking about, Veronica, that transition from being a business owner to an author, I was curious just about like learning how to get your book distributed, learning how to advertise and promote it. Because that's right. It's a different target audience, right? It's a different market.
Yes.
Carrying inventory, you know what I mean? Just those kind of different little barriers that you have to figure out for yourself. Because what I do like about what Margaret was telling us about is with an ebook that simplifies a lot of those things, right? She's not having to carry inventory. She can create something once and just that it's a file now, and that file can just be copied but you got to protect it, right? So first you have to protect that file, but you can create it once and let it duplicate itself, right? And that's different from having to have a printer print something continuously. And so just trying to get a little insight into how those things have transitioned for you all to learning how to distribute this work that you've created.
Absolutely. Okay, we're not in a week yet. Friday will be a week, but I didn't mention that the young lady, the owner of the authors group, it was also her ribbon cutting ceremony for Green That Big Publishing. So I was compelled and led to stay with her along the journey, along the process. So we're meeting again next week, but I do have assistance to help with this. Yes, the collecting the orders, and they're working with me along the process. I could not do it alone.
Excellent. So we're learning how to build teams. We're learning how to build networks, and to try not to wear all the hats. I think that's where a lot of young business owners and entrepreneurs run into trouble and get burned out very quickly. And then you get everybody excited about your business. And then when they check back in with you 2 years or 3 years, girl, I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, they say statistically speaking, right, a business, if it makes it through the first 5 years, right? But the other challenge I think that many of us have is that we think we can, one, do it all. Two, I think we rely too heavily on technology sometimes. I think that some of the newer entrepreneurs, they think you can automate everything, and you can automate some things, but you have to decide which aspects to automate. I was asked, one of the reasons why I did produce it as an ebook was all of the questions that they asked me. I honestly didn't want to make a decision, so I went the ebook route because I didn't want to deal with how am I going to get it out. How am I going to build a website? Is it going to be on demand? Am I going to hold inventory? Am I going to go out and tour and go places and do book signings? And I just wanted to get the work out. So this was version 1.0. A very powerful man by the name of Delatoro McNeil poked me and said, please put out version 1.0. He's 7-time author. powerful keynote speaker, Tampa native, and he said, "Will you please
Yep,
put out
shout out to
version
Della Soro.
1.0?" You know, he just became Dr. McNeil, by the way, and he said, "Will you
Oh,
please
wow.
put out version?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. He got his doctorate, honorary doctorate. I forgot what it's in, but yeah, amazing guy. He was also on my show some years ago, and we've been connected for years. He's part of my network. But he said
Same
to
here.
me, "Get something out,
Yes.
something."
It's key. It's key. And, and sometimes when I watch how my female counterparts work versus my male counterparts, and we'll touch on that. That'll be the last note. Sometimes I think our sisters will, in that effort to want to make sure it's perfect, will let that hold them back from just getting started, just to really like get it out there. Sometimes men will just, and that's the thing, men will step out and then figure it out as we're going. But I know sometimes with our sisters, they like to know what each step's going to look like before they take that step. And so could you ladies touch on that as the last note on how you didn't allow that to hold you back from getting started?
Well, for me, it was many opportunities to look back at that, because like you say, I like it this way, this way, this way, in order. And it takes courage to walk in the unknown.
Mm.
I don't know what the end is going to be, but I can wait here and keep waiting, put off, nothing gets resolved, nothing gets accomplished. But once I just step out on faith, because faith is believing, not seeing.
Hey.
It's just like people, I tell them, you show up for work, you don't know that company's going to go bankrupt. You go every day. Some people start 2 or 3 weeks before they get a paycheck. So
false sense of security.
Absolutely. So I just had to trust along the process and not keep in my head saying, what if, focus on what is the here and now, get through it and make it happen. And here we are today. And I'm like I said, I feel blessed and honored. I didn't think it would be. And I've gotten calls already for something in North Carolina event. That's what Miss Margaret, yes, I am going to have to do a lot, but I'm looking forward to going back to my home state, New York, and get, because my uncles and we're known there, and get back.
Hey, if you can make it there.
Yes.
You can make it.
It's all about the network, though, Veronica. You're reaching into your network. So,
well, in sales, we call that our warm market, right?
Right, exactly. For me, it was my network that made me put it out, because I was on the road. I finished the book on the road, and actually, it was my keynote speaker for the Empowerment Summit that said it to me. She said, "Just push it out." I was looking around in the marketplace, and I saw all these other authors, and I said, I'm not sure. And she's like, "Will you please just do something?" And it was my network that pushed me. She herself, her name is Jojo Waddell. She's the only Live Past Crazy specialist. She's going to be the keynote speaker at the Empowerment Summit, and she said to me, I wrote all these books not because I knew every aspect of it was perfect. She said, you have to start and you have to stop and say, this is where I'm stopping, and you can continue. She wrote her story in a series of books, smaller books. I love what you said, Veronica, about not having too many words, because people are not going to do all of that. I'm very wordy. I guess you don't know that. But I had to just stop with the words and just let it go and know that it's not permanent. I can do more and more and more. So I think having that network and having that faith that you built the network that is going to, in a spirit of love and compassion, push you forward, because you can #change the world.
Absolutely. And I think you ladies have provided such great insight. And it's okay to be wordy too, but understand maybe that you have that in another place for the people to consume, right? Because there are people who do like that, right? There are people who like long form content, and shout out to podcasting, right?
Right.
So you could have the book that's like the abridged version, but then that can also serve as a reference tool to go get more information, right? Give people that opportunity to connect with you in a more intimate and sustained way. So we appreciate that. Miss Margaret, could you let us know a little bit how these folks can then start to build their network and so the key for connecting with this summit so that they can stop procrastinating and get started?
Well, you can do a number of things. It is available on Eventbrite. The Empowerment Summit Tampa Bay. It is on August the 7th. It is at the Godfrey Hotel in Tampa Bay. It is an all-day event. Breakfast and lunch are included in your ticket price. You can always, all the different ways that you follow me on social media, Margaret DeBellotte, my morning podcast, which is Margaret in the Morning. You can follow me through social media as MSD, Miss D, Job Coach. So you can find me on all social media that way. Or the good old-fashioned telephone. You can call me. 704-277-8714.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And Miss Veronica, let the folks know where they can find you. And then finally, we will give a shout out to some of our honor rollees.
Veronica Aiken Streets on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Oh, this is new to me. Veronica.streets, the book website. VeronicaStreets.com for the book site. And then it's on Amazon as well.
And you can find everybody at Let's Talk Business with SJC on Facebook. We will keep you connected with everyone. And then finally, we will just give a shout out to our graduates. So Diamond, if you could assist me with that.
Yes, so we have first Mrs. Kenya Jones. She recently graduated this past May. She received her education specialist degree in educational leadership in St. Leo University. And then we have Dr. Ole Douglas Jr., who has accepted a position of Vice President of Academic Affairs at Long Beach City College and will begin his new position on August 2nd this year. Prior to accepting that position, he was appointed Vice President of Instruction at Cypress College.
Excellent. He's out here in my neck of the woods. All right. So special thank you to our sponsors. A special thank you to In Touch News for bringing you news you can use. I have been your guest host, Rocky Cuso. A special shout out to Ms. Cheryl Cuso, who is logged in even on her day off. So we appreciate that. Love you, Mommy. And hoping that the family is doing well. I hope to see you all in a week or two. So Tampa, I'm on the way. Say hello. And we love you very much, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Once again, you can find all of our guests today from our website and on our social media. The main spot is Facebook. Definitely connect with us on Facebook. This is the show that's always going to be all up in your business. And each week we feature different topics, but always in the vein of business, right? So we'll be talking about health. We'll be talking about fashion. We'll be talking about just a number of things, but always from the perspective of business and for business owners, entrepreneurs, and those who are aspiring. So special thanks to all of my guests. You can find their books. Please connect. Let's support. Let's recycle our dollars. Special thank you to our intern and special thank you to our show engineers. And we just appreciate everyone. And that being said, we'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
Thank
Wednesday,
Thank you very much.
12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at in-touchnews.com. Thanks.
Thank you.
Record.